Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Happy Flex Friday. Oh, you can't see my flex. I gotta adjust my screen over here a little bit. How is everyone doing today? Thank you, everyone who is joining me live. For those of you that are joining me live, if this is your first live here with me in the Facebook group, if you have any questions whatsoever, all you need to do is pop the questions in the comment section. Say hello so I don't feel like I'm talking to myself the whole time. So say hello, drop behind the comment section so I can see who's here with me live right now. I am monitoring the comment section. This is what I'm doing with my phone right now, just so that if we have anybody that's joining us, say hello. All right. So we are actually day 5 of our challenge. We are doing the 14-day body fat kickstart challenge for women over 40. Fat loss kickstart challenge for women over 40. And we are in day 5 of this challenge. So I know a lot of you are probably have joined this challenge. For those of you that have not joined this challenge and you might want to know more about it or what we're doing. So what we are doing is for the next 14 days is we are just focusing on some 3 foundational habits. The 3 foundational habits that we are focusing on is getting more protein with each meal. So we are aiming for about 30 grams of protein for each meal. And these are essential for a few reasons. So number one, getting more dietary protein into your diet will help you preserve lean muscle mass. And if you're strength training, it'll actually help you build that lean muscle mass. So why do we want muscle mass? Well, as we age, we lose muscle mass, and having more muscle on our body will help prevent a lot of disease as we age. So that is the number one reason why we want to be having more muscle on our body. The other thing too is, which we'll talk about today, is that having more muscle on your body actually helps boost your metabolism. So we need to try and preserve and build as much lean muscle mass as possible. So the key to doing that is having more protein in your diet. The other reason why protein is so important, ladies, especially over the age of 40, is that as we go through hormonal shifts during this time of our lives, like as we enter perimenopause and then menopause. Perimenopause is the period of time before you hit menopause, and that can last anywhere between 4 to 10 years prior to you actually going through menopause. And so during this time frame, we are losing progesterone and estrogen levels. And when that happens, some of the symptoms that we see, some of the cortisol effects that we see from the drop of estrogen and progesterone levels is that we get an increase of hunger and cravings. So protein will help you stay very full and very satiated during this time so that it will help prevent you from overeating. And the other thing that happens is that we become more insulin resistant. So by eating more protein, it'll actually help you regulate blood sugar levels as well during this time period. So that is the main focus of this challenge, is getting protein in, at least 30 grams of protein at each meal, at least 3 times a day. The other thing that we are working on is on walking. Walking is important for many reasons. First of all, we are not meant to sit down all day long. We need to be moving our bodies. So for the first week, we're aiming for about 5,000 to 7,000 steps per day. This will help lower cortisol levels. It actually helps with managing blood sugar levels as well too. But the number one thing that why we want to be walking is because we become extremely sensitive to stress during this time period. So walking is one of the best modalities that you can use to help lower cortisol levels. So that is why we are focusing on this other habit as well. And then the third habit that we are focusing on is getting better quality sleep. I think one of the biggest things that I hear from a lot of women during perimenopause and menopause is that their sleep starts to get disrupted. And the sleep gets disrupted because of the decline in progesterone levels into our body. And so one of the ways that we can help get better quality sleep is the bedtime routine that we put into place ahead of time. So what we are doing this week is like 1 hour before bed, no electronics, no blue light. And we're also setting an alarm 1 hour before bed so that we can have this time to calm the sympathetic nervous system and start signaling to the body to prepare your body for a good night rest. And some of the things that we could be doing prior to that during that 1 hour before bed is we could do some relaxing activities like a bath with Epsom salt, like reading a book, like, you know, just relaxing if you can, foam rolling, self-massage, you know, maybe some meditation, maybe some journaling, things that will actually calm your body down before you go to bed, so that we are preparing for a good night rest. So these are the 3 habits that we are working on. And you might be asking, well, Sarah, what does this have to do with fat loss? A lot. Okay, so if you are a woman that is going through perimenopause, we are accumulating a lot more fat. Our body is storing fat more within our midsection. And studies have shown that if we are a woman not handling stress or managing stress or having elevated stress levels during perimenopause and menopause, we are going to get more of that fat accumulation within that what we call that menopausal belly. So we have to do what we can to help lower cortisol levels, which we could do by getting better quality sleep and also by walking. And then, of course, eating more protein in your diet will also help with fat loss because it's going to prevent you from overeating. It's going to keep you full and it's going to keep you satiated, okay? So this is why we are aiming for these three habits throughout the week. It is the cornerstone of what we teach a lot of our clients that do our one-on-one coaching with us as well too. Okay, so that is what we focus on. Now today we are going to be talking about, oh, we got lots of people here. So we've got Jessica, Sabrina, Rosa. Hey, Jessica, thanks for joining us. All right, so lots of you that are watching us today, thank you so much for joining us. So what we are going to be talking about today is how to optimize your metabolism over 40, okay? So it's no secret that what used to work for us in terms of losing weight in our 20s and 30s is no longer effective beyond into your 40s and beyond, okay? Can everybody agree with me? I'm sure if you're here watching me live, have you attempted to do something that maybe you did in your 20s and your 30s and you're finding a lot of resistance to that? Pop that in the comment section. Like, yes, that's me. That's totally me, Sarah. You know, I have tried doing things that used to work for me before, and I'm noticing that it is harder and harder for me to lose body fat. Let's see if any of you guys have noticed that. Elaine is clapping hi. All right, so yes, many women face the frustration and often compensate by doing more and more. Okay, so what ends up happening? We try to eat less and move more because that's what we've been taught our whole entire lives. And then you notice that nothing's working. So what do you end up doing? You try to eat even less and you try to do even more. Maybe you're working out more. Maybe you're working out instead of 3 days a week, you go to 4 days a week, or sometimes even 7 days a week. I'm hearing of some women working out, trying to lose weight, okay? And it's not just about being restricted. It's not just about being going through a restrictive diet. They're doing things like HIIT or boot camp plus intermittent fasting. And what I see is that women are completely going downhill when they are using this type of approach where they are doing restrictive diets like intermittent fasting, maybe keto, maybe like eliminating carbs. Like, I don't know why carbs get such a bad rap. They're so good for you. Our bodies use them as fuel, but yet this is what I'm still seeing a lot of women do. And it makes sense because the metabolism is one, like I see the women going downhill, and it makes sense because the metabolism is one big stress barometer. And considering that the female is a gender of childbearing, we are here to childbear. The female metabolism is going to be far more sensitive compared to a man's metabolism, okay? This understanding begins the discussion of why women, when they cut carbs, they end up with more cravings than men, and why they might lose more muscle mass and experience a rebound in weight gain when they follow a restrictive diet, okay? This occurs because women are far more sensitive to stress, resulting in more of that, what we call a metabolic whiplash from restrictive diets, meaning that they do restricted diets. You'll see a man do it and they'll lose weight very quickly. And then the wife will do the same diet and then she's stuck and not seeing any results. Pop a comment, yes, if that's something that you have personally experienced. Okay. And so again, women get this metabolic whiplash when they do these super restrictive diets. And this is a significant issue, one of many, but perhaps the biggest factor that most women deal with. Women are more like high luxury cars, okay? We are not going to take the Ferrari off-road without thinking about it. And once we hit perimenopause and we start to lose progesterone and estrogen, levels start to fluctuate, reaching very high and then very low levels, leading to a very volatile time, okay? So what happens is estrogen goes up and down, and it's a volatile time for us because if you've heard me in my previous trainings, progesterone and estrogen are very highly dependent on each other. So when we start to lose progesterone levels, estrogen has this fluctuation of high and low levels, and then it's a very volatile time for women during this time period. At this point, we also will start to become more insulin resistant, and you lose some of your metabolic potential that we would have had when we were younger women. And we may experience wild swings in brain chemistry that can cause cravings and similar issues. Therefore, it's important to understand that rather than adopting a more is better approach, you want to go for a less is better approach in terms of diet and exercise. In other words, it's not just about reducing carbs to nothing or super low calories. It's about having enough so we do not add more stress to the body, okay? You have to understand that when we do these things like super restrictive diets or eating 1,200 calories or less for years or months upon months, this becomes very stressful to the body. And instead of engaging in high intensity interval trainings, is another thing that I see so many women do. They're doing like Orange Theory, F45, high intensity interval training 5 days a week, or extensive long duration cardio that can overly stress you. We need to spend more time in relaxing activities like yoga, like long relaxing walks, which is one of the reasons why we're doing a lot of walking in our challenge, because our metabolism acts as a stress barometer. When you stress it out too much, it is going to push back against you, okay? So we recommend that a lot of our clients over 40 and a lot of you that are in this community, we recommend engaging in relaxing activities that help them recover, such as spending time in the sauna, taking Epsom salt baths. I talked about this earlier. You can incorporate that into your nighttime routine, spending time with loved ones, as long as it doesn't stress you out, receiving massages, anything that can lower the stress hormones. Most notably, like I said earlier, walking is significant because it takes the stress burden off of the metabolism. Walking is one of the best ways for you to lower cortisol levels. So when you think about what happens when you stress out the metabolism, it responds in the only way that it knows. Historically, this response is to starvation, okay? So any type of stress signals to the metabolism to hold on to the fat it has to do what it needs to do, which is accumulate more. Therefore, we need to do everything we can to take stress off the metabolic system. And the way that we do that is to focus on rest, recovery, recuperation activities, and to ensure a balance of enough exercise without overdoing it or adhering to a severe diet regimen. The more is better outlook will no longer work for you if you're a woman over 40. Okay. We need to realize that. We need to understand that these super restrictive ways that intermittent fasting, like, I don't like intermittent fasting for women over 40 for many reasons. First of all, we need to get protein in that first meal out of the day. Okay. We are in a very anabolic state. We are in a very catabolic state while we are sleeping. And we do not want to prolong our first meal till noon or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. First of all, that's going to cause more stress on your body, especially if you're getting a workout in there as well too. We need that first meal to be full of protein, at least 30 to 40 grams of protein, so that we can get the body back into an anabolic state. An anabolic state means we want to be fueling the body with those amino acids that come from protein to stimulate muscle preservation and also muscle growth. So this is why, like, intermittent fasting doesn't work well for women. The other thing that happens is that you are really throwing off your body's natural circadian rhythm by delaying that first meal. Okay, your body's natural circadian rhythm, we wake up in the morning, we go to bed at night, and by delaying that first meal, we're really throwing off that body's natural circadian rhythm. The other thing that I find is that you get like ravenous hungry. Okay, like you delay that first meal. Like, I know, Elaine, if you're on this call right now, if you're on this call right now, Elaine, we talked about it. She went live in our Facebook group, and she did intermittent fasting, and she was ravenous. She had a lot of cravings, and then at nighttime, what normally happens is you end up binging and overeating and causing that accumulation of fat in that midsection area as well too. So we really have to understand that it's not beneficial to do intermittent fasting. So Jessica says, yes, I love my hot yoga class. Awesome. And the infrared sauna. Amazing. She says, I can't do super restricted dieting. It makes me mean and pushes me to almost binge. Yes. I'm glad that you bring that up, Jessica, because this is a big thing with restrictive dieting, is like, you're so good all day. Oh my God, I can't have this. I can't have that. I can't have the carbs or whatever. And then what happens typically on the weekend is that most women binge because they see that food that they haven't been able to have. They're at a party, they're wherever the case may be, and they end up just like binging on that food because of that super restrictive mentality. So instead, we need to find a good balance, of, having enough protein, having enough carbs in your diet so that you don't get hangry, having enough fats in your diet and fueling your body. Like, if your goal is fat loss, we want to make sure that we're having enough protein in each meal, spacing out our meals at least 3 to 4 hours apart, so we don't get to this point where we're like so ravenous that we end up just overeating and binging. Okay. So those are my reasons why I don't recommend intermittent fasting, but I understand like why a lot of people are appealed to that. Like, it's like, okay, I just have to cut out a meal. But the reality is like, you can cut out the meal, but you can still, within a 6 or 8 hour feeding window, overeat in calories. Okay. And which in order for fat loss to happen, we do need to be in a calorie deficit, meaning that we need to be eating less calories than our body requires in order for us to lose body fat. Now, I will say something. No, we are not always ready to go into a fat loss phase. If you have some metabolic if your metabolic health is not strong, you need time to repair your metabolic health and your metabolism first before your body will be able to go into a fat loss phase. Okay, and maybe I'll share with you guys later, you know, how to determine where you are. But this is what I do through my Frenza Fit assessment, which I think a lot of you on this call, if you're our client, we do this assessment with you while you on board with us, and we do that. But if you're not a client and you're part of our challenge and you're part of this community, we do our Frenza Fit assessment where we diagnose the root cause of what is really holding you back. Okay, and we know that the 5 main root causes, after working with hundreds and hundreds of women, is that it's either your metabolism, your hormonal health, your calories and macros are off, your workouts may not be the right type of workouts, or it could be a lot of stress. And this is where the stress comes in that can also affect your metabolic health as well too. So when it comes to fat loss, it's not just about diet and exercise we have to consider. We have to consider whether the internal mechanisms like the metabolism is working in a way that your body will respond. Okay, so if you're someone that has been dieting at 1,200 calories for the past 6 months or a year, and you're at a point where like you plateaued, your body is not ready to go back into fat loss. We need to repair your metabolic health first, okay? And we have to consider that the root cause of the issues that many women face can be beyond just nutrition and exercise. Okay, and that is why we help our clients and empower our women in our community by showing them exactly what is holding them back. Like, all of you can go and Google how to lose weight. How many times have any of you went to Google? I know you have, okay? I'm sure you have. Or, you know, you're on social media following how to lose weight. How many of you have done that? You went to go Google how to lose weight, maybe in your 40s, or what is the best way to lose weight? How many of you have done that? You comment a yes or no in the comment section. How many of you Googled that? Like, there's lots of information out there. There's also a lot of misinformation out there. Okay, it's not just always about your diet and exercise. We have to consider your metabolic health, and we have to optimize the metabolism to be in a state for strong metabolic health. Okay, and that is what we do through our Frenza Fit assessment, is by empowering you to show you exactly what is holding you back, to tell you which one of those root causes it is. I analyze your data and I tell you exactly what's going to hold you back and exactly how to fix it. I give you the blueprint so that you know what to do moving forward. So I know a lot of you have had this assessment done before. Some of you are going to get your assessment next week. But if for those of you that are watching the replay to this and you want this, just comment assessment in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you, and I'll get you, basically what'll happen is I'll get you to fill out an assessment form. So I do need data. I do need to collect some data. And then what I'll do is I'll actually get on a call with you for 15 minutes. I normally charge $500 for this, to do all of this analyzation and giving you that assessment. But because you guys are in my community and I love you, I want to empower you, to show you exactly what is going on. And some women, they want our help and to guide them through this, through our one-on-one coaching program. And some women feel like they could do it on their own. Either way, we are going to give you the blueprint to show you on how to start making progress. Okay. So I hope this was really helpful for you, so that you can understand like how we need to, you know, really maximize our metabolism over 40. And this is going to be like really finding not the more is better approach. We want to find that happy balance between, you know, not putting too much stress on the metabolism by doing these super restrictive diets, making sure that we're fueling your metabolism so that we don't get that metabolic whiplash, and we don't get your metabolism to fight back against you and be resistant. We need to ensure that the metabolism and your metabolic health, your internal mechanisms, are working properly before your body will be receptive to fat loss. And that is just, you know, the case that that is just really the case for a lot of you. So anyways, if you want to find out what it actually is, just comment assessment below and we'll set that up for you. Thank you, all of you, for joining me today. This was super fun. And yeah, for those of you that are in the challenge, I know Jessica, you're in the challenge, Amanda, Sabrina, all of you, Rosa, you're all in the challenge. Keep going. Remember, if you have a bad day, don't worry about it. You know, if your day is not perfect, don't worry about it. We just need to continue on the next day. Okay. This is all about going regardless of what happens. We know that the weekend is coming up. So the weekends can be a effort moment for a lot of you. You know, this is where I see a lot of women are like, you know what? F the weekend. Like, I actually had someone reach out to me and they're like, you know, I don't know what is going on. You know, I'm tracking my food. You know, I'm not seeing any movement. Nothing's happening. And I'm like, okay, so are you tracking 7 days out of the week? Like, no, I don't track on the weekends. Well, that, I'm sorry, can be a really big red flag. Because I know on the weekends, if you're not tracking on the weekends or you're not being mindful 7 days a week, you know, you could be having really high calorie days, which are going to basically cancel out your calorie deficit. And it just keeps you in maintenance so that you don't see any movement. Because what ends up happening is, like, you know, we end up having a cookie and then we're like, you know what, F it, I had that cookie. Now I'm just going to, like, screw the rest of the day. I'm just going to eat whatever I want for the rest of the day. And you know what, screw the rest of the weekend. I'm just going to start on Monday. But this cycle keeps people stuck. It keeps them stuck. And then you never can get beyond. So we need to be mindful on the weekend as well too. Still do the same thing that you do for the rest of the week. You know, plan out your meals, figure out how you're going to get protein in each meal. If you're going to have, you know, meals out, look at the menu before you go. And if you are tracking on an app, then pre-track what you're going to have for dinner. Like, if you could look at the menu, a lot of menus have exactly what you're going to be eating. And a lot of them have calories on there as well too. And actually how many grams of protein is in there. So look at the menu, decide what you're going to have, you know, and pre-track that in the app before you even get there. And if you don't do that, then you want to make sure that protein is the star of your plate. Okay. Even when you're going out for dinner, if you're going to have pasta, well, are you going to have chicken on that pasta? Where is your protein to go along with it? So I always recommend, you know, protein to be the star of the plate. You want to have lots of veggies. Choose your carb. You know, you want that to be a fist size for your carb, either rice, baked potato, or a bun, or bread. And you want to make sure that the serving size of your protein is going to be like the palm of your hand. At least 1.5 of these, to be honest with you. Okay. So those are some tips on how to navigate the weekend. All right, ladies, thank you so much for joining me. I can't wait to next week. Let's see what's on the schedule for next week for our for what's going on in the community. Oh, we have lots. So basically, we have our check-in call on Tuesday night at 7 p.m. This is our second week check-in call for all of you that are in the 14-day Fat Loss Kickstart Challenge. Then at 12 p.m. next week, Thursday, I'm doing a live on how to burn stubborn fat over 40. And then we're actually doing a live workout on Saturday morning. That's May the 25th at 9 a.m. with Coach Tammy. Tammy is going to be doing a live workout with all of you. So the schedule will be posted over the weekend. So hopefully you guys can come and join us for one of these lives next week. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me. Have a wonderful Friday and have a wonderful long weekend to all of our fellow Canadian friends. Have a good one. Bye for now.